Welcome to WPIAL Football 2020 here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. Tonight, it's a battle in the Northeastern Conference. The Penn Hills Indians fighting for playoffs position against the Shaler area Titans. Tonight's game brought to you by Mr. Water Heater, Premier Medical, You Pull and Pay, Penn Hill Shop and Save, Season Hill University, Excella Health, United States Air Force Reserve, California University of Pennsylvania, Crees Transportation, Carlow University, Comfort Keepers, and by Trib Total Media. This broadcast is copyright of the Penn Hills Football Network. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the Penn Hills Football Network is strictly prohibited. Along with my broadcast partner, R.J. Licey, I'm Bill Navari. Great to have you along tonight here at Shaler Area Middle School in Shaler, Pennsylvania. And RJ, a pivotal game tonight for these Penn Hills Indians.
Yeah, this is a game you're fighting for playoff positioning. You've already clinched the second spot in the Northeast Conference in Class 5A. Now you're just trying to solidify that, hey, we should be one of the top teams that's a second-place team. You know, you're going to have Pine Richland, maybe Penn Trafford and Gateway. Those are the two unbeaten teams in the Big East. And then you also have Peters Township in the Allegheny 6 Conference. Those right now are your top three seeds. And after that, you're probably going to get Gateway at 4. And that battle for that fifth, sixth spots can be between Penn Hill, South Fayette, and Upper St. Clair. So this is a game you can't really slouch on. You already know you locked the playoff position. You're going up against a winless team in Shaler tonight, but there's still a lot on the line for tonight's game, and that should be enough motivation for these Indians and Coach John Ladon.
Pine Richland, the conference champion. I didn't know that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, who knew?
You know, the defending 6A champs. But, you know, there's still a lot of playoff positioning to go with every, you know, even do we know everybody who's making the playoffs yet?
Nope. Have no clue because, you know, we know the two out of the Northeast Conference is going to be Penn Hills and Pine Richland. Out of the Big East Conference, you still have Penn Trafford's in the lead, and you have Gateway, Woodland Hills, and Franklin Regional all bunched in. In the Allegheny 6 Conference, you have Peters Township leading way with South Fayette, Upper St. Clair. Potentially Moon could sneak their way in late as well. So it's an interesting battle. You know, you really only have 4 teams that are kind of set, and after that it's, well, who else are we going to get in here for the other 4? No one knows. We'll find out tonight, and we'll find out brackets tomorrow evening.
Well, a lot of folks considering that Gateway will be the number 4 seed, but you know, I was talking with John Ladon the other night, and he was kind of surmising that, you know, as you look ahead towards playoff positioning, that next week Penn Hills, he guesses, will be at Gateway. And the curious thing about it is Penn Hills would have more wins and going on the road.
Well, Gateway having the games postponed due to COVID-19, that's unfortunate. They've lost a lot of their season. They've only played 3 games coming into tonight. You know, you're talking they might be there. They might be going up against Peters Township or Penn Trafford, whoever becomes the number 3 seed, depending on how they go from there. And then that's where you slide in South Fayette, Upper St. Clair. So Class 5A is stacked. It is stacked top to bottom. Even your wild card teams that might quote unquote sneak in are going to be a really good high caliber team that they might pull off an upset against the number 2 or maybe the number 1 team in Pine Richland. Pine Richland wins tonight, they got the number 1 spot. It's locked up. They're the number 1 in Class 5A. So there's still a lot to play for and a lot to be decided tonight.
Indians will kick off to the Titans, and if you're the Titans, what are you looking at here tonight other than trying to pull off the big upset?
Pride. You're playing for pride. You're going for the win. You know, you're trying to send your 11 seniors off with the right mindset. You know, last year you lost to Penn Hills, but 2 years ago you defeated Penn Hills. So you can do this. This class has seen it done, so there's just a lot of pride on the line.
And we are underway. Short kickoff. And the Indians recover the onside kick. They start off quickly.
They recover.
Well, apparently we can't look away on this one here, RJ.
No, we cannot. And a great call by Coach Ladon and the special teams. You know, why not? Go for it. Start the game off right.
First and 10, Penn Hills from the Shaler 44.
Indian offense on the field. Duggar from the shotgun. Indians keep it on the ground, right side inside the 40. Down to about the 38-yard line. Cameron Hopkins get down to about the 33. Excuse me, about the 38-yard line. Picks up about 5.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
High snap. Duggar keeps it on the ground. Amir Key, right side. Big game last week. Another big game tonight. Starting things off up the sideline. Inside the 20. We'll have a first down for the Penn Hills Indians at the 17-yard line. 21 yards on Amir Key's first carry of the night. The freshman who had over 100 yards last week.
Yeah, 106 yards and starts off with a big 21-yard gain on his first carry off the right side. Great blocking. Edge was set. He broke one tackle about the 25-yard line and then ran over a defender and finally brought down at the 17. So a great run by Amir Key and to establish this running game that Penn Hills likes to get going to complement the passing game as well.
Hopkins moves to Duggar's right. That's Key deep. He'll take the handoff, tries to find a lane. Tough sledding up to the 15-yard line, but does pick up a couple. And the Indians will be looking at a 2nd down and 6.
Nice job there by the Titans. Just stack the box, handoff up the middle. They've had a couple bounce at each side, so odds were you're going to run right up the middle. And you saw this last week with Fox Chapel. They kind of stacked the box, and that's when you started seeing the outside plays with the passing game start to really come into play for Penn Hills.
Inside the 5-yard line on a nifty run. Cameron Hopkins. It'll be 1st and goal Indians at the 3.
Tiptoe again with the stop.
And that was just a hard-nosed run there through the off the right side between the guard and the tackle, able to find his way through, and then he bounces off and carries a defender with him all the way down to the 3-yard line for a 1st and goal.
Indians inside the 5. All runs on this drive. Hopkins shimmies to the right, and we dropped back at the 4-yard line.
Hopkins with the carry, stop for no gain. Tackled by Schweinberg. 2nd and goal.
Indians send twins to the near side. Noel Roach splits all by himself to the right. Key. Tough sledding, gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Fought his way through the line of scrimmage and gets himself into the end zone. 4 yards for 4 for 6 points.
Beautiful hard-nosed run off the right side. That's what we saw. A couple of those plays just going through the tackles and carrying guys and bouncing off. And Amir Key does just a great job. Cuts it back up right to the middle. Slips one man and then fights his way into the end zone.
Jonas Silverman on to try the point after. Touchdown coming with 9:32 to go here in the first quarter. Kick is up. Kick is good. 9:32 to go first quarter. Penn Hills 7. Shaler nothing. Here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. That was a penalty flag. Looks like we're going to be doing this again.
Yeah, too many men. They had a late substitution coming in and tried to sub in, sub out, and gonna go with the re-kick.
Just from 5 yards further back. Out to about a 25-yard field goal.
Penalty was called on Penn Hills. They will re-kick the extra point.
And Silverman, like butter, right through. Again, 9:32 to go, first quarter. Penn Hills 7, Shaler nothing on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. Six plays, 44 yards, following the Penn Hills Indians onside kick to start this game off. And if you're Penn Hills, do you dare try it again?
You might. I wonder, there was a video that surfaced this week I saw on social media that a coach, high school coach, was saying that all they do is onside kick because his team recovers it. They know how to kick it, or they get it every time. And they started off a game where they did 4 straight onside kicks, and they scored each time they got the ball. 4 straight times in the first quarter. So I wonder if Coach LaDon saw that video and they said, you know what? Let's try it. Let's give it a go. You know, what do we have to lose? You know, let's get our offense in rhythm early.
If you're Shaler, are you looking for it, or are you thinking, nah, no way?
Not this one. I think the first one, you're just kind of catching them off guard. You want to see what your guys can do. Now you know you can execute it. Now we'll just go back to normal.
And Silverman does, in fact, kick it away. Taken at the 10-yard line. And Shaler will start at their own 30-yard line. Josh Miller with the return for the Titans. So now the tough Penn Hills defense will take the field. Penn Hills offense struggling to put points on the board this season, but the defense has been playing quite well.
Well, young leader with the freshman quarterback, and then also a couple injuries has really affected this Penn Hills offense, but slowly found the rhythm in the past 2 games.
Dominic Rossi under center, hands off Miller. Will pick up about 2.5 yards.
Miller with the carry. Wade with the tackle. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Rossi will throw near side, down the sideline, and throws this one out of bounds. Had a man out in the flat, but he was covered. It was Dylan Schlegel. Noel Roach on the coverage, also Justin Posey there. The pass thrown too far. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 7.5 yards for the Shaler area Titans.
Yeah, initial fade. As soon as Rossi got that snap, he was looking to the near side, to our near sideline. The Penn Hill sideline, looking for that fade route to the side for his man Schlegel, but overthrew him by about 3 yards into the Penn Hills bench.
Rossi will throw again, swing pass this side. Again, Miller gets stacked up by Justin Posey after he picks up about 2 yards. Ball comes out, but the whistle had blown.
Rossi's pass complete to Miller. Gain of 1 on the play.
And it'll bring up a 4th down for the Titans. And the punting unit will come on, and the Indians offense apparently will get another opportunity.
Yeah, great job there. Coming up, making that initial hit. Justin Posey came off his man Schlegel. He's got the big duty going against the number 1 wide receiver. Comes up, makes an open field tackle, and forces the punting unit to come back on the field.
Miller gets the kick away, hits it to 30. Roach picks it up finally at the 20-yard line after a couple of bounces. Tries find himself a lane, and will get about back to the 30-yard line where the ball initially hit.
Roach receives the punt.
Kind of a dangerous play for Roach, but he prevented that one from rolling and saved the Indians a lot of field position. Got it back to where the ball initially hit at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that ball was going to roll all the way down inside the 10-yard line as much momentum as it had. Nice job by Roach to not only have the awareness to do that, but the confidence. You know, he initially touched it and dropped again, but he was able to pick it up. And by the time he gained control, it was the 20-yard line. So really, he had a 10-yard return on that. When that punt could have easily rolled inside the 20, maybe even inside the 10.
Key gets stacked up by the Titans. Nice defensive play. He'll lose about 3 yards.
Nice job by Alex Klingensmith. He was the one, the defensive tackle, and basically a nose guard, just came shredding right through and met Key in the backfield and dropped him for a loss of 4.
Klingensmith, 6'4", 275-pound senior.
Won the 11 seniors honor tonight. Pre-game.
Duggar looks right, throws that way. And the pass too high for Chase Barney.
Duggar's pass.
And it'll bring up a third and about 14 for the Indians. Penn Hill's up 7-0 here in the first quarter.
And I think if Julian goes through his progression a little more, he finds his brother Jaden on the seam route coming up right through the middle. He's wide open in between a nice little soft zone. Watching the replay, you can see Jaden throw his hands up in frustration. And that's just maturity coming along for a young quarterback. And you wanted that quick hot route. That's the number one play, but maybe you look off and you go to your brother in the inside.
And now it'll be a longer third down for Penn Hills.
Outside, false start on Penn Hills.
Everybody moved on that line, but the center is a half-second slow.
Yeah, and that's whether that's the cadence or maybe the line's trying to get off early to give Duggar protection on a 3rd and 14. Shaler's gotten some pressure into the backfield a couple times so far early into this game, and Penn Hill's just trying to anticipate it.
Mitchell and Hill split to the near side. Duggar chased out of the pocket, rolls this way, has some room to run across the 30. Cuts it back inside the 35, the 40. And we'll have a first down at the 45-yard line. 24-yard scamper for the freshman. Picks up an Indian first down. When he got out of that pocket, came this way, RJ, there was a lot of green in front of him.
Yeah, there was a lot of green, and he saw it, and he tucked it, and then not going down on the playbook, but DeAndre Mitchell, nice job to turn around and didn't really get a block, but just being in that area and a couple wide receivers being in the area forced defenders to move, opened up a little bit more of the lane, and allow them to get to the 46-yard line.
Sometimes it's good just to stop and make them go around you as opposed to risking the penalty. Key deep behind Duggar. That was Derek Topek shifting this way. And Key off the right side out to the 49-yard line. Picks up about 4 yards.
And looks like Derek Topek is the one down in some pain.
And Topek got up, but he went back down.
Amir Key for the short gain. Got probably rolled up on by a couple offensive and defensive linemen at the same time.
Very possibly. Of course, you want to hope it's just a cramp. But it didn't look that way. The Indians can ill afford to lose any more of their skill kids after the loss of Dante Pollard. And Topek's going to walk gingerly off to the near side. Of course, all our best to Dante Pollard. Fortunately, the young man broke his leg in the North Hills game.
Yeah, just one of those plays, as a football player, just a tackle and got bent back on his own leg, unfortunately. And best wishes to him and his future endeavors after his high school career.
Duggar, play action, rolls to his right, throws underneath, has a man, pass complete. Across the 40, 30, up the sideline, out of bounds. No, excuse me, still in bounds, inside the 10, 5, touchdown, Penn Hills Indians. Cameron Hopkins took a short pass, and you talk about your Your Yaks.
Which one? Yard after catch or yard after contact? Because he had both on that one. He went the distance, 51 yards officially on the play. And he's able to shred Shackles. And he was on the sideline. We're thinking he's going to be dropped, pulled out of bounds or something. Nope, sheds a man, cuts it back inside, and into the end zone he goes.
That was some nifty running by Hopkins after that catch. I don't know how he stayed in bounds. Silverman hopping through. Penn Hills leads 14-0 over Shaler. 5:49 to go here in the first quarter. And RJ, that was a quick drive. That was only 5 plays.
5 plays. You had the first play was a loss of 4, incomplete pass, and then you had a penalty, and then it was just run, pass, done. That was it. That's all it was. Pretty easy, quick, simple, and 2:03 off the clock, and a 14-0 lead.
Now, you've seen the struggles the Indians had earlier this season as far as the offense goes, but as of late, the offense seems to be coming into its own here late in the season.
Yeah, the offense, you're starting to see it click. The maturity is there. The offensive line's starting to gel. We saw early in the season the offensive line struggled. Julian Duggar has matured as he's gotten more and more reps behind center, and both under and in shotgun. And then the running back situation had a great thing going with Dante Pollard. Unfortunately lost him, but Amir Keys come in and said, hey, I might be just a freshman, but I'm going to carry my weight just as well.
The Indians have freshmen on the offensive line as well. Carter Morgan, 6'2", 235-pound freshman.
Side to Miller, deep to receive.
So things boding well for the Indians' future. Silverman teeing it up at the 40. And we'll boom this one. Back to the 1-yard line. And Miller wrapped up, brought down at the 25-yard line. Nice special teams play by John Dawson, the sophomore.
First and 10 Knights from the 25.
Miller across the 30 up to the 32-yard line, picks up 7.
Miller, the ball carrier.
The Titans have run 4 offensive plays. Miller's been involved in 3 of them. He's the go-to guy, clearly, on this Titans offense.
Yeah, leading the team in rushing, 40 attempts, 203 yards. Only 1 score rushing, and Dylan Schlagel has been the main guy on the receiving corps, but it's been a slow start for this young team. There are a lot of juniors and sophomores starting for the Titans on offense.
Miller again will be dropped back at the 31-yard line. We'll lose a yard.
Puglisi with the stop. Loss of 1.
Luke Puglisi on the tackle. What a season he's had. Not really getting a ton of looks is coming into this year. Only a junior, and he's really starting to make a name for himself, and not just the defensive tackle side, but also on the offensive line. He's a strong suit for Coach Ladon on both sides of the ball.
Hey, the defensive line working the slant. See the nose tackle out there. Pass, this side, Schlegel. Hauls it in, makes a move, gets across the 40. We'll have a first down for the Titans at the 45-yard line. 14 yards. Brought down with it, did a little shake move on Posey, and picks up a first down for the Titans.
Yeah, beautiful play. Just quick little slant. You had 3rd and short, and a little high throw. Posey giving plenty of room to the playmaker, Dylan Schlegel, and he's able to make a miss after catching the ball and able to go upfield. A nice job by Roach to come across and make the tackle.
Rossi lone setback. Excuse me, it's Miller. Rossi's under center, the quarterback, and Miller gets stacked up at the line.
Miller, the ball carrier.
I mean, Shaler, another young team here in this conference, so
No gain, 2nd and 10.
they're building here in the northern suburbs.
Yeah, they had a good season last year, made it to the playoffs, lost the Gateway in the first round, but a lot of juniors and sophomores on this starting on both sides of the ball, and it's a team coming back. It's got a lot to look forward to, even though they haven't got a win on the season, a lot to build off going into next year.
Rossi's going to throw, looks, has Schlegel, and if Schlegel's able to hold on to that, I think that would have been 6 for the Titans. Justin Posey may have got a paw in there to break it up.
Nice little slant route there by Schlegel, and had to beat on Posey, but a nice job by Posey to come back. And as the ball was getting to Schlegel, it looked like Posey just nudged him a little bit and might have caused the loss of concentration and dropped the ball to prevent what would have been a big touchdown play at 55 yards.
Schlegel, just a junior as well, 6'4". It's a big target for Rossi. Miller to Rossi's right, will stay in and block. Rossi throws left side downfield, has a man. And a pass incomplete. Jaden Duggar making a nice attempt on the interception, and able to come up with it. The pass was intended for Phil White. And that'll bring up a 4th down for the Titans, who trail 14-0 with 3:08 to go here in quarter number 1.
Yeah, Duggar a little shaken up. I think just the wind knocked out him trying to dive for that ball. Trying to make the big play on it, and unfortunately just a little overthrown. But 4th down, we talked about this defense. In the last 4 games, besides the Prime Richland 43 points, the team has only given up 27 total points in the 3 wins this year. So this defense is the strong suit for Penn Hills, and already showing it tonight.
Miller gets a kick away. Roach from his 27-yard line goes right. Tries to have some blocks. Has a lane. Roach up the sideline. And Roach is going to go for a Penn Hills touchdown. 73 yards for Noel Roach. No flags. This one will count. And the Indians go up by 20.
That is Roach with the Penn Hills punt return for a touchdown.
Do you concur on the 73 yards?
I have 71. I haven't taken it to 29-yard line, but within that range, he went the distance.
$71. One after, up and good. Penn Hills 21, Shaler nothing. 2:50 to go in quarter number 1 here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
First touchdown in Cubs. His advice for underclassmen is never let anyone tell you that you are not good enough, fast enough, or strong enough. Work that much harder to prove them wrong. Alex enjoys football, lacrosse, weightlifting, hunting, fishing, and dirt bike riding. Our next senior, Tyler Michael, who's been playing football for 3 years. His favorite football memory is his first week of camp, his sophomore year. His advice for underclassmen.
21-0 RJ. We're still here in quarter number 1.
Talk about a clinic for Penn Hills. Offensively, defensively, both sides just been buttoned up.
Yeah.
It's been buttoned up. You did the onside kick, you punched them early, and then after that you let your defense do the work, and then your offense just keeps going back out there.
I believe that's the first special teams score of the Indians this season.
Yes.
Miller from the 10. Looks for someone to go. The Indians clog up the middle, but Miller still with a nice job carrying Indians up to the 45-yard line. They can mark him up at the 46. All right, we'll mark him at the 45. See what the Titans can do, trailing by 21.
I think there was a little animosity on that run by Miller. He's the one, punt he's the punter for the Titans, and he got in a little scuffle while Roach was returning that kickoff at the punt return for a score. I wonder if there was a little animosity left in that, some anger in that run.
Miller, left side, has Rossi out in front blocking. A penalty flag will come in. Usually that would mean holding. Well, I got the line of scrimmage. Miller picked up 5. So often you see a quarterback hand off and then lead the way blocking.
Not very often, but if you know you got to seal the edge, you got to do what you can. And it will be a holding against the Titans.
10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Fortunately for Shaler, it wasn't in the backfield. They only lose the 10 yards on the penalty. So make it a 1st and 20. Rossi's left side. Pass incomplete. It was intended for Phil White. Coverage on a play by Jawan Brown, who almost had a pick 6 on that one.
Yeah, nice job by Brown. Didn't interfere with the wide receiver. Kind of had his hand on his back, but wasn't turning him or pushing him, and then got the jump off to reach out in front and knock that one down for an incompletion, setting him a 2nd and long. And looking, I was looking at the Penn Hill schedule. Too bad there's no Gardner points or strength of schedule this year, because the Indians have faced some stiff competition out of conference and let alone in conference as well this year to help with the seeding going into the playoffs.
Rossi, pass complete this way, out to the 39-yard line. It's Tristan Holland. I was looking at the standings and I was discussing with my son, the plum coach, as he was looking through over on 4A. But I was even suggesting that I was looking at it. I'm like, Penn Hills has the most Gardner and WPIL points of any second-place team. Yep. So I was thinking, why does everybody have seeding them 7th? And he mentioned the blowout with Pine Ridge, and even that was a little deceiving. Yeah. Because of the 4 touchdowns. They had 4 drives of 25 yards or less because of Penn Hills' mistakes. Again, that was early in the season. And a pass picked off by Jaden Duggar. He just went up and grabbed that one. It would not be denied. Phil White was the intended receiver, and Penn Hills takes over at the 42-yard line of the Shaler Titans.
Yeah, that was a high pass, and Duggar said, all right, I'll let you get away with one. I'm not letting you get away with this one. He just high points that over top of the wide receiver. He pulls a Randy Moss and goes over top on the secondary side, and he read it perfectly. He was actually on the go route, and then once he saw Rossi throwing it shallow, he cut off and came back for the play and was able to pick him off. And once again, Penn Hill's offense coming back onto the field with only a minute. Was still we're in the first quarter with 1:26 to go.
Yeah, Penn Hills has scored on both their possessions and on a punt return. Dogger's going to throw. Comes this way. Looks, gets the pass away, has a man underneath, and it should be good enough for a 1st down if they give him the yardage. And they will add onto the 30-yard line. It's a 12-yard pickup. Is that Jawan Brown?
I believe that was actually Brendan Hill. Yep, Brendan Hill, 22.
Yeah, I saw the 2. It's a 1st down for Brendan Hill. He kind of threw it into a crowd, and credit Hill for coming down with it.
Yeah, 2 wide receivers in the area, but there was also 3 defenders, and already a penalty. False start against or illegal motion for Penn Hill. So
that came from the back judge. Did the center maybe move the football or something?
Might have, or the running back got set and then moved himself. No. And
Key follows his blockers, gets wrapped up, gets down to the 32-yard line for pickup of 3. And the Indians looking at a 2nd down and 12. I mentioned about Plum. Now they're in 4A. Now, they're looking to go undefeated tonight against Armstrong.
Yep.
And nobody's giving them any respect over in 4A.
Now, well, when you play in classification with Aliquippa and what the season they've put on too, it's hard. It's hard to look past Aliquippa, and unfortunately, Plum deserves the credit going in tonight and going into the playoff season.
I think you're going to tag Dunye. I think he was kind of drawn to come out of his stance, but he'll lose the 5 yards. But the thing about 4A is I see everybody's setting up their, as the first quarter comes to an end, as they're setting up playoff. You know, they're pretend. You know, let's propose our playoff brackets. What we're going to see. Plum could go into as an undefeated conference champion, and yet they're telling them they're projecting him as the 4th seed. Now I understand. You understand that there's Aliquippa and Thomas Jefferson, but I'm thinking, why would you have an undefeated conference champion seated lower than the second place team of Bell Vernon?
I agree. I do. I wholeheartedly agree with that, and it's just.
You know, well, they don't want to put Bell Vernon and Thomas Jefferson on the same side. And it's like, well, that's how it works out sometimes.
Well, and you almost have to put them on the same side. I mean, even if you dump them to the Bell Vernon to the 4 spot, so you have Aliquippa 1, TJ 2, Plum 3. Make them
when you rate Aliquippa over Thomas Jefferson. I mean, I don't know. To me, my opinion is Thomas Jefferson's the undefeated returning champion.
Yeah.
So although last year Penn Hills they went into the playoffs the undefeated returning champion, and they were the number 2 seed.
Yep.
So WPI will do something like that, but
yes, I
don't know how you if you're the reigning champion and you're undefeated, I think you should be the number 1 seed. But we'll see tomorrow night. Pass complete underneath. Chase Barty inside the 30-yard line. Gets the block, goes to the right side up to 10. 5. Does he get in? No, out of bounds just before the goal line. Just at the 1-yard line. Oh, goodness gracious. Chase Barney down to the 1. 36 yards. First and goal, Indians.
Yeah, great job by Jaden Duggar, who's the one who actually set the block that sprung Barney out further and allowed him to get all the way down to the 1-yard line. Yeah, and I see your point. Thomas Jefferson defending champs, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Whippy actually put Aliquippa 2. I mean, they forced them, the state forced them to play up to 4A, so they might be like, hey, we don't think you're that good. We're still going to put you at 2. Defending champs, I understand that point too, but 4A and 5A have a lot of interesting matchups when it comes to seeding going into tomorrow night.
Topek stacked up for no gain. Is that Topek or is that Brown?
Brown. Topek's down here on the bench, I believe.
When you see half a number and it's the number 0, it's your default call. But it'll be interesting to see what the WPIL does in their infinite wisdom. That's Brown again. He'll actually lose 2.
Brown the ball carrier.
Back-to-back quick handoffs up the middle, and Shaler's been stacking the box every time so far, and we've seen Duggar roll out, so just trying to find any way you can, not really trying to kill a little bit of the clock too at the same time.
Key deep in the pistol. Brown to Duggar's left. And Duggar's going to fake left side. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to get in. Yes, he does. Julian Duggar, 3-yard run. Touchdown coming with 10:17 to go here in the half. Indian 42-yard drive. Off the interception. Julian's brother, Jaden. Kick is up and through. 10-17 to go. First half, Penn Hills 28, Shaler nothing on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
Our next senior we are celebrating is Adam Raleigh, who has been playing football for 5 years. His favorite football memory are bus rides after a win, and his advice for underclassmen is to enjoy it as much as you can because it's faster than you think. Adam also likes to play ice hockey and lacrosse for the school. He plans to go to college for criminal justice and become a police officer. Brandon Schweinberg has been playing football for 11 years. His favorite football memory is when he played up on a team in the Cubs.
Woodland Hills up, they're tied with Latrobe at 14 in the second quarter.
That's a big game for wild card spot. And then another big game in Class 5A. Upper St. Clair leading South Fayette 10-0. It's still a minute and a half left in the first quarter.
Moon's up 14-7.
Allegheny 6 conference. Between the Allegheny 6 and the Big East, it's going to be a fight over the two wild card spots. You know, who's going to get in? Because you're going to be looking out for Woodland Hills, Franklin Regional, the loser of Upper St. Clair and South Fayette, along with Moon. If Moon's able to go on for a victory tonight, it's going to be interesting.
Miller from the 7-yard line. Across the 30, up the sideline to 35, the 40. Miller, chased by the Indians, and does a nice return in Indians territory. Down to about the 30-yard line. Miller slow in getting up.
I think he's just tired. I think that's just an exhaustion run. He looks like he's just worn out, shedding tackles and fighting for every yard.
Credit him. I mean, he just skirted that sideline up to the 28-yard line. And he didn't go out of bounds. Nice return.
Beautiful return of 65 yards.
Yeah, if he doesn't run out of gas, he might have.
Well, and also give credit to Alex Bell. Bell was the one chasing him down and finally brought him down. 5'6", 160-pound senior.
That's where speed comes in handy. Rossi under center. You don't see that too often in high school sports anymore. Passed on the left side. Caught. Does he get into the end zone or out of bounds at the 1? That's Schlegel.
I think we have a touchdown. Yep.
Oh, there we go. So waiting for any official never signaled it.
Hey, like his hands went up, but I don't know.
What was it? It looked like he was almost going to go to wave the clock off, or
yeah, he was going to stop the play at the 1 and had a defender at his feet. One of those.
Shaler's point after attempt is good. One play, 28 yards. Set up by the Josh Miller kickoff return, and the Shaler area Titans are on the board. They now trail Penn Hills 28-7 with 9:50 to go here in the first half.
Into the playoffs, his advice for underclassmen is think of the team first before yourself. Roman enjoys fishing, Special Olympics, bocce, watching Star Wars and other science fiction movies. Roman plans to attend a four-year university and play college football. Our next senior is Zach Valentine, who's played football for 6 years. His best football memory is the homecoming 2019 win against Franklin Regional. His advice for underclassmen: never be selfish. Always play for each other and pick each other up. Activities and hobbies include fishing. His future plans are to attend college, major in biology, perhaps professional veterinary. Zach Valentine and Roman Tortoria.
Indians will have nice field position following the kick return out at the 39-yard line.
Run
And Brown on the return. It went through the hands of Pellman. And luckily, Juwan Brown was right there behind him, picked it up, and was able to get out to the 40-yard line after the squib kick.
Key hit in the backfield, still drags Titans for a pickup of 1. Nice effort by the young freshman.
Tristan Holland was draped all over the back of him, and Key was able to drag him from about the 37-yard line to the 41. So only a 1-yard gain, but 4-yard effort in total by Amir Key after being met in the backfield. Coach Ladon's going to call a timeout here. Offense was taking a little while, and Coach Ladon just, when they broke the huddle, just said, "Easy, gentlemen," and calls it the first timeout of the half.
Well, better to get things right and to make the error. Touch the timeout coming with 8:59 to go here in half number 1. Again, Penn Hills 28, Shaler 7. So a quick shout out to the team doctor, Dr. Fowler, checking in from Chicago. Watching. So possibly see him next week at Gateway.
And some other score updates. Class 5A, Penn Trafford leading Franklin Regional 21-0. So the Warriors looking to lock up that Big East Conference championship and potentially the second seed in Class 5A playoffs.
Duggar will throw. Swing pass left side. You think Indians get anything out of that? There's no Roach.
Got 1.
Did I get a yard?
Yep. And mark him down at the 42-yard line.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
Nice job there by the Titan defense, recognizing the play, and everyone from the secondary just ran upfield and was able to make the tackle and only allow the short gain.
Duggar rolls this way, under pressure. Loses the football, but catches it himself. And he'll get pushed out of bounds. Back to the 38-yard line, loss of about 4. Is that officially a sack?
Yeah, that would be officially a sack. He was rolling out looking for a pass, so that would be a sack of 4 yards.
I don't know, the Indians will punt for the first time in this game. Clock stopped, 8:05 to go.
Great job by Josh Miller. He was the one who forced Duggar to the near side and actually knocked the ball loose. Duggar kind of carrying it a little loose. Whistles here. I think we're going to get a timeout.
Shaler called a timeout, which they might be saying, dang it, because it was a high snap. So been lost a little bit. Timeout coming. 8:04 to should go back to 8:05, I would reckon.
Should.
But probably won't.
Nah.
8:04 to go here in the first half. Penn Hills 28, Shaler 7. Indians do get the ball to start half number 2 because they kicked off. Well, they onside kicked to start the game.
Yeah. Got the ball back and then recovered the onside, and I believe, 7 plays later they were into the end zone. Another score update. Upper St. Clair 16, South Fayette 7 now. 10-12 to go in the second quarter. See if we find any other score updates.
Silverman punt formation. Miller back to receive.
Booming punt. Miller from his 19-yard line. Cuts back inside to across to 30. Inside to 35. Now we'll get across the 35 to the 36-yard line. That was a booming punt by Silverman.
Great punt up through the air. But a nice return once again by Miller. He's had a couple of them tonight so far on kickoff and the first one on punt tonight. And setting up the Titans in field position. Titans got a little momentum going. First play off the big kickoff return by Miller into the end zone. And trying to pull Lee Corso with the not so fast coming back here.
Shaler just pounding it ahead for about 9. That's Roman Tortorella.
Roman Tortorella, the ball carrier.
Mark him back. Maybe 7 yards. Luke Pugliese with the tackle for the Indians. Brings up 2nd down and 3.
The first time we've called tonight the name of the fullback, Tortorella, excuse me.
Schlegel, who caught the touchdown pass, splits off to the near side. Single coverage with Justin Posey. And Rossi looks that way. Schlegel will have it for the first down, pushed out of bounds at the Indian 49-yard line. 8 yards. That was Posey who pushed him out.
First and 10 Titans. Ball on the Shaler 39.
Those are kind of the quick passes you're going to hit tonight with Posey playing that soft coverage and giving him 5 to 10 yards off the line of scrimmage and backpedaling his way. And now you're starting to see Posey press a little bit closer to the line and slowly backs up. And he's actually giving about a 7-yard cushion to Schlegel.
And a penalty flag comes in. False start against the Titans.
Legal procedure called on Shaler.
Is that their first penalty of this half?
That is their second. They had the holding.
Ah, yes. Yes, indeed.
First and 15 for the Titans on their own 46.
Rossi going to the far side to get the play call and jogs back to his team's huddle. Have to see 1st and 15. Do you go right back to the pass, or do you give it off to Miller, who's gotten a little momentum going, with the returns? Didn't see him on the last drive because, unfortunately, had an injury whistle for him.
Rossi will throw. Throws right side, and Chase Barney almost comes up with it for the pick 6.
Rossi's pass intended for Holland. Broken up by Barney.
And that brings up a 2nd down. Oh, my. Rossi on the play action threw it out in that flat. And Chase Barney read it nicely.
Yeah, Barney actually undercut it, and the ball was trying to be floated so it would go over Barney, and I think that's what led to Barney not being able to come up with it, because if it's a little lower, we're talking about a pick 6, and we're talking about a 35-7 score instead of remaining Shaler ball 28-7.
Rossi, straight drop, looks this way, down the sideline for Schlegel. And a pass thrown out of bounds. Posey on the coverage.
Rossi's pass intended for Schlegel.
Brings up a 3rd and 15 for the Titans.
And they're liking that one-on-one matchup. There's not been, the safety help really hasn't been there for Posey, so they're trusting Posey to cover the leading wide receiver for the Shaler Titans. As the fullback was going to check out for Shaler, 3rd and long.
Rossi from the shotgun. Has Miller in front blocking. And throws this one out of bounds as well. And bring up a 4th down.
There's nothing Rossi could do there. That pressure from both sides was brought up, and everyone was covering a man. Just had to throw it out of bounds.
Dante Pollard checking in on the broadcast tonight. Comment, Dante, wish you were here. Wish you were here. Hope you're doing well.
There's one formation. Good speed to receive.
Miller will be back to punt. Noel Roach stands at his own 25-yard line. And Miller shanks this one off the foot. I'd like to have that one back. We're going to mark him.
We're at 45, I think. They stand right in between the two, the 44 and the 45.
Well, the Indians will have it with 6:36 to go in the half. Looks like about the 40. We'll call the 45.
Well, they actually moved all the way to 42.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right.
They had the better view.
You know, you try to read the officials where they are.
They're all moving about the place, and still a great field to start with for the Indians.
Key left side has some blockers, spins at the 40 and goes down there, loses a couple.
The ball carrier for the tackle. Loss of 2.
And Damon Moultrie. The Indians also lost in the North Hills game. Checking in. Damon.
Give that one not credit with the tackle, but should be, is Austin Timko. He was the one who initially met Key in the backfield and forced him to spin, and that allowed another defender to come in to make a tackle for loss.
Dogger throws this way. Pass too short for Brendan Hill. Brings up a 3rd and 12. I mentioned Pollard and Moultrie checking in online. I tell you, the toughest thing seeing those two go down is the fact that they're seniors.
Yes.
You know, and it's just, it breaks your heart.
It's tough, and you see where this team was headed and where they've come so far through the season, and those were two guys that they were looking to be the anchors for the team.
Yes.
And I guarantee there's still active voices for the team, for the leadership in the locker room, and for Coach LaDon.
Duggar chased, dragged down, back at the 25-yard line. Who else? Josh Miller. It's a 15-yard loss on the sack.
Loss of 14 on that Miller sack. Brings up a 4th down.
And Silverman will come back to boot this one away.
And Shaler's caught on to a little bit of the tendency of on 3rd and long. The Indians like to do a bootleg to the widest part of the field, and they've had Miller on that side waiting for Julian Duggar.
High snap. Silverman picks it up at his 5-yard line, takes off running. Silverman has some room to run up the sideline and gets pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Actually, 9-yard pickup there by he'll go into the stats with a 9-yard run. But the Indians turn the ball over on downs to the Titans with 4:59 to go in the half. Titans have it at the Indians' 35-yard line. An opportunity for the Titans to get back in this game. They trail 28-7 with just under 5 to go.
Miller the ball carrier, but we have a flag.
Miller on the rush, but there's a penalty flag. And an injured Titan. Excuse me, an injured Indian. Did we see the penalty call?
I think it was a face mask.
There's flags way back here in the backfield.
Yeah, I know. There's two of them. I couldn't see the signal. Unfortunately, I have the officials back towards us for tonight and haven't heard a call over the public address.
Well, it looks like Miller's 7-yard run will stand.
And the penalty was declined. So I wonder if it was a 5-yard face mask and they just decided to wave it off and decline it. And like you said, why would the penalty markers be thrown near the 45-yard line?
Pine Richland up 41-0 over Kiski. Excuse me, 48-0 now. It's kind of like the ticker. It's tick, tick.
Just keep waiting to come across. And
Woodland Hills trails Latrobe 21-20 in the second quarter.
Wildcats, can't sleep on them. They were fighting for. They were out of the playoff race, but they were fighting for something.
Josh Wade, the 6'3 senior, being helped off. Now here's one. It'll be a happy night in the Navari house tonight later on because Plum Special Teams blocked a punt and recovered it in the end zone for a touchdown. So I'll have a happy special teams coach coming home tonight. Plum up 35-0 over Armstrong.
And some people were thinking that might have been a potential trap game as Armstrong was trying to play a little bit of spoiler and ruining the seeding for the Mustangs. And
well, they had the top passer in 4A.
Yes, they do. And the Mustangs are coming out rolling.
Miller wrapped up Pugliese. Drops him back at the 30-yard line for a loss of 2. There you go. We mentioned the progression of Luke Pugliese this season.
It's been incredible. And he has shown, like, he's a solid offensive lineman, but that defensive tackle / edge rush that he's become has been very consistent throughout the year. And he's only a junior, and he's only going to get better going into next year, and you're going to start seeing him getting his name called by some schools.
Passing complete on the near side.
Play was pass intended for Holland.
It was intended for Holland, Tristan Holland. Brings up a 3rd down and 5. At the 30, excuse me, 4th down and 5 at the 30.
And that ball was just too low for Holland. Try to reel it in. He's backpedaling towards the sideline and throws near the ankles as it started low anyways. Rossi never really gave his tight end a chance there.
Rossi from the shotgun. Under pressure, flush to his right. Looks. Gets the pass away into the end zone. And too far for Austin Timko.
Rossi's pass intended for Timko.
It's incomplete.
Titans turn it over on downs.
Shaler turns the ball over on downs with 3:56 to go here in half number 1. They trail 28-7 to Penn Hills.
Penn Hills from their own 30.
And besides the 2 big returns from Miller that led to the score and this one leading to starting inside Penn Hills territory, the Indians' defense hasn't given up a lot of yardage. They've really stood tall. They've done a great job tonight so far, through the majority of the first half. And another episode right there, first play they gained 7, and then after that it's shut them down at the line and force a bad pass.
Indians keep it all on the ground. Keith Condon. I'll call it no gain.
Second and 11.
You're seeing Penn Hills keep running these up the middle while Shaler's stacking the box. It's almost one of those, are they setting something up? Is it one of those times where they're going to set something up and go for a big play here near the end of the half to go into the locker room, potentially up 35-7 and getting the ball to start the second half?
Key kind of bobbled it on the handoff, but they held on to it, and it'll be dropped for a loss of about 2. Shaler's defense starting to stymie Penn Hills a bit here.
Yeah, that defensive line and that one, Brandon Schweinberg, looked like he was shot out of a rocket, just came flying through and met Key instantly in the backfield. Brought him down for the loss of 2.
As the clock continues to run, winding down here, half number 1. Dogger, play action. Steps, throws, downfield, pass. Almost complete, but nice play defensively by the Titans' Corbin Sidick, who broke up the pass. It was intended for Cameron Hopkins. That'll bring up a 4th down. Sidick, the 5'9" sophomore. Closed that one quickly.
Yeah, and the pass was a little behind the wide receiver when he tried to make the catch. He tried to make it off his back shoulder, and I think if Duggar's able to lead him a little bit more, you might complete that big pass.
Silverman gets the snap this time. High, booming kick. Hits at the 27-yard line and goes out of bounds at the 25. I mean, that one was going to bring rain.
Yeah, that was one of the best punts we've seen from Silverman this year. That was just had the height to allow the coverage team to get down there, and then he also pinched it towards the sideline, and Miller wanted nothing to do with it and just let it hit and roll out of bounds.
I mean, no point in booting it right down the middle to allow Miller a return.
Yeah, nice 48-yard punt on that one.
Big Christian Williams thundering out to the defensive line. 6'5", 290-pound junior. Rossi, the receiver, on the play.
The pass is passed, complete to Rossi. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4 from the 31.
Shaler's trying to shake it up a little bit. Nathan Rozzo in at quarterback. He'll throw down the sideline towards Schlegel, and the pass picked off. Noel Roach.
The pass is intercepted.
Comes up with it at the 47-yard line.
That is Roach with the interception.
Now, you see Penn Hill's putting a lot of subs into the game.
Yep.
But with just under 2 minutes to go, and you're getting the ball to start half number 2, if you're Coach Ladon, you're thinking, let's get into the end zone here and try to score on the first possession of the second half, get the clock running, and get out of here.
Yep, that's what I would be thinking. And for the initial onset of what looks like to be going out there, he's thinking a similar thing. You got Jaden Duggar, DeAndre Mitchell, Amir Key out there, along with Keith Condon. You're going to see this rotation in the backfield. No Roach stepping on at the last second.
Yeah, I'll tell you, just a shout out here. The Indian secondary has played very well all season, and a lot of credit to that goes to secondary coach Brian Tarrant. Coach B. There's none better in the WPIAL coach in the secondary, we believe.
Done a great job, and the only trouble the secondary's had all year was, against the number 1 team in Class 5A in Pine Richland, and that's to be expected with any team, honestly. But otherwise, the secondary, with the combination of the front 7, offenses have had a tough time trying to find a place to go with the ball, whether it's on the ground or through the air.
Dogger's going to throw. Too high for Roach on the near side. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 15. Stops the clock with 1:04 to go.
And that's because Amir Key just got bowled over by the defensive end, Zach Valentine. He was the one that really shoved Key into Duggar, and Duggar really couldn't finish his throw and had to stop, and I think that's why it sailed on him and wasn't able to complete the pass to Noel Roach. 96 yards, 14 receptions, 2 scores on the year for the Indians.
Again, Indians up 28-7 here late first half. Duggar steps up, throws, pass, complete underneath. First down, Penn Hills. Down inside the 30-yard line. That's down to brother Jaden. Coaches getting the Indians moving quickly. Duggar looks again, flushed out of the pocket. Looks, throws towards the end zone, and a pass too high. Penalty flag comes in. Did Duggar go across the line of scrimmage before he threw it?
I think we're going to get a holding against the offense.
Brendan Hill was down in the end zone with the pass a little too high, but if he caught this one was coming back. Penalty flag at the 35. Clock stopped with 40 seconds to go here in the first half. Again, Penn Hill's up 28-7.
That's a call, so spot's actually back to the 35.
That's a 15-yarder, huh?
That's going to be about 16-yard loss in total. Still 2 timeouts to work with for Penn Hill, so trying to get as quick as possible without having to burn a timeout, trying to get as deep to Shaler territory.
Duggar looking left, throws, has a man out in the flat, and unable to come up with it was DeAndre Mitchell. I don't know how far he would have had to have gone, how much further he'd have gotten. It just been a pickup of a couple of yards.
Mitchell just took his eyes off that one. It was a little bit of high throw. It was up near the top of his helmet, but he tried to spin and look upfield for the defender where he was and got to secure the ball first.
So second and about 16. Excuse me, second about 26. Duggar again out to Mitchell. Has it at the 35-yard line. Cuts it in the inside. Goes down to the 25. He's short of the first down. Penn Hills will use a timeout. They pick up 20, so they take a nice chunk of the yardage off on that play. So it'll be fourth and about 6.
Yep.
Indians still 1 timeout left.
That was nice, a good play call there. You see the secondary backing off. They're waiting for the big throw. It's second and 26. You think you're going to go for the bomb, and then they're giving a big soft coverage, and you just throw a little quick hitch route with DeAndre Mitchell. This time Mitchell able to come up with it, and then get up more yards, and now sets up a 3rd and 6. You have some plays to work with. You maybe try to get a couple yards here. You're definitely trying to pick up the first down, but if you pick up a couple yards, could be in Jonah Silverman territory here for a potential field goal at the end of the half.
Again, 25 seconds remain.
3rd down and 5.
It's only 3rd down. Duggar throwing near side. Roach gets a hands up, comes down with it. Touchdown, Penn Hills. Oh, my. Noel Roach got the paw up. Was that a one-hander?
Yes, sir.
Holy moly. Holds it in for the touchdown. His second of the game. And Penn Hills extends the lead with 19 ticks left here in half number 1.
You talked about got the one paw up, that left arm. He's falling backwards towards the end zone, reaches up with the left hand, point of the football, hits right in the middle of the palm, closes it, tucks it, touchdown.
That's why he's playing D1 next year. Kick up and through. 19 seconds to go. First half, Penn Hills 35, Shaler 7 on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. Well, just as we called it, RJ, try to get the ball into the end zone before the end of the half. And Penn Hills can keep Shaler off the board here with 19 ticks to go. They have the opportunity to get the mercy rule going in half number 2 on the opening drive.
Yeah, it's just the offense has just slowly been churning and connecting a couple passes, and that was a beautiful pass by Julian Duggar. Only where his wide receiver can catch it, and then Noel Roach just makes a spectacular one-handed grab.
Silverman pooches this one down to the 10-yard line. Miller. He's hit at the 25-yard line.
Returns it to about the 25-yard line.
Now, if you're Shaler, do you try something or do you just take it to the locker room? What do you got to lose?
That's it. What do you got to lose? You haven't had a win on the season. Penn Hills is getting the ball to start the second half anyhow. Why not? Let's go down swinging at this point.
Yeah. Halftime score, Penn Trafford 35, Franklin Regional 7. But here's a big one. Latrobe 24, Woodland Hills 20.
Oof. The Wildcats giving the Wolverines everything they can handle.
Battle of the felines. Josh Miller hauls in the pass at the 26-yard line. Actually, it'll be a loss of 5. Man, it should run out to half. Yeah, that does.
Not a whistle. We got a flag here on the near side, on our near side.
That is going to conclude our first half of play.
I don't know if it's a defensive penalty.
Not so fast, sir. Not so fast. A lot of the teams haven't left the field yet.
No, the Indians look like they're starting to, so.
I think it's an offensive penalty. I think we're going to get a holding against Shaler, declined.
Yeah, that is. That
to the half.
After one half of play, your score, Penn Hills 35, Shaler 7. Second half action coming your way in about 15 minutes here on the Penn Hills Indians Sports Network. If you like bands, stick around. You'll get to see the Shaler band, but you'll see it from the backside.
Still get to listen. Get a nice little. Stick the microphones out the window and get some of the tunes coming through.
Oh, what a beautiful night, RJ.
Oh, gorgeous.
Late October here like this?
Today's high in the upper 70s, low 80s.
Oh, my goodness.
And then tomorrow it all flips back to fall again.
No, it is. Yeah.
And don't forget, folks, tomorrow night on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, 7 p.m., the WPL brackets will be released for playoffs, except for Class 2A. 2A has a game tomorrow, so those won't be released till 9 a.m. on Sunday. But 1 through 6, except for 2, will be released tomorrow night. You can find that right here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. See where the Indians will be traveling to. Unfortunately, probably more likely not going to be able to get a home game as stacked as 5A is.
Stranger things have happened.
This is true.
Send me a text. I have dinner reservations tomorrow night at 7.
I'll be
because this weekend we're going to say it. Happy birthday to our super person here in the booth, our producer, our camera person, the one who keeps us going, the lovely and ever talented Helen.
She runs the show.
That she does. Her birthday's Sunday, RJ.
Well, wish her a happy early birthday.
She's finally going to be allowed to drink alcohol. We made her laugh.
Our night's complete.
There we go. All right, Shaler Band on the field. Enjoy, folks. Second half action coming your way shortly here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like you and your attention to be on the visitor side of the 50-yard line, where we are going to introduce our Shaler area seniors. Adam Brockler, accompanied by Bob and Julie Brockler. Caitlin Brittenbaugh, accompanied by Kevin and Brandy Brittenbaugh. Anthony Busham, accompanied by Deborah Busham and Gary Dodd. Tyler Egan, accompanied by John and Jennifer Egan. Jenna Facer, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Matt Facer. Caitlin Fedorek, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Jason and Amy Fedorek. Luke Franks, accompanied by Mark and Stephanie Franks. Gabriella Greco, accompanied by Cindy Greco. Abby Harangazo, accompanied by Mrs. Sylvia Harangazo and James Harangazo Jr. Lexi Hillwig, accompanied by Brian and Angie Hillwig. Brianna Hune, accompanied by Paula and Greg Hune. Olivia Jarzinka, accompanied by Peter and Leslie Jarzinka. Stephen Codd, accompanied by Ken and Donna Codd. Isabel McGowan, accompanied by Michael and Freddie McGowan. Lydia Nebbiolo, accompanied by Ed and Betsy Nebbiolo. Joseph Reiner, accompanied by Steve and Michelle Reiner. Molly Witkowski, accompanied by Christy and Tom Witkowski. Abby Sawa, accompanied by James and Annie Sawa. Heidi Shara, accompanied by Bill and April Shara. Megan Schwab, accompanied by David and Amy Schwab. Alexia Singh, accompanied by John and Heather Singh. Jordan Shank, accompanied by Ryan and Sandy Shank, as well as her brother Ryan remotely. Zachary Spondike, accompanied by Mark and Ellen Spondike. Kaylin Stewart, accompanied by James and Megan Stewart. Jillian Sullivan, accompanied by Declan and Elizabeth Sullivan. Jonathan Ullery, accompanied by Lynn Ullery and John and Don Ullery. Jared Vance, accompanied by Ed and Darlene Vance. Valentina Vaza, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Vaza. Erica Waldron, accompanied by Harry and Lisa Waldron. Brenda Walzer, accompanied by Jeffrey and Tracy Walzer. Gregory Williams, accompanied by Dan and Kristen Williams. Molly Uritich, accompanied by Mr. and Mrs. Paul and Tammy Uritich. Congratulations, Shaler area, class of 2021.
Second half action about to come your way. And the Penn Hills Indians Football Network with the score Penn Hills 35. Shaler Area 7. Just a reminder, tonight's game brought to you by Mr. Water Heater, Premier Medical, You Pull and Pay, Penn Hill Shop and Save, Seton Hill University, Excella Health, United States Air Force Reserve, California, University of Pennsylvania, Crees Transportation, Carlow University, Comfort Keepers, and by Trib Total Media. Bill Navari along with RJ Lysine. RJ, we're talking halftime before we realized, hey, man, we should be doing this on the air. The playoff possibilities tonight, and it's just... it's amazing. Some teams that you look at it coming in, well, these are the teams that are going to make the playoffs, and this is how it's going to look, and this is what we're going to do. But some of those teams are losing at halftime, and if this continues, there's the possibility of some teams getting in you'd have to find the record books to see the last time they actually made the playoffs.
Yeah, so coming into tonight in Class 5A, the teams that were pretty much locked to get in was Pine Richland, Penn Hills, Penn Trafford, Gateway, Peters Township, South Fayette, and Upper St. Clair. South Fayette, Upper St. Clair battling each other. They're battling for the second spot in that Allegheny 6 conference. Loser gets one of the wildcard spots. We knew that. So now everyone was looking at, okay, it's going to come down to Woodland Hills and Franklin Regional. Well, Franklin Regional is playing Penn Trafford tonight, losing. Woodland Hills is playing at Greater Latrobe, losing. So now you're talking about, okay, that also, if those two results hold, that brings in Latrobe into the discussion. That brings in the winner of the Fox Chapel North Hills game into discussion. And even it could bring in the discussion of Moon, which there'll be a fourth place team, but they'd have a similar record to the other teams as well in conference play and overall. What are you going to do in Class 5A now? You potentially could have 5 teams all having a say in who gets the last spot.
Now, granted, we're looking at halftime scores, and all things can change what's going on here, but it's fun to prognosticate and just think of the possibilities. But you're looking at a Woodland Hills team, you're looking at, yes, they're in. Are they going to be 3? Are they going to be 2 in that conference? Where are they going to be? They're making the playoffs. Woodland Hills in. They lose tonight. They're out.
They're on the outside looking in. That would make them 2-3 overall. 2-3 in conference play. 4-3 overall. They would actually be behind Latrobe. If Latrobe wins, they'd be 2-2 in conference play. They lost one of their games this year due to COVID-19. I believe it was actually the game might have been the game against Gateway. They might have lost that one. Might be one of those games.
That was the Sunday night game they played.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea.
You're looking at it. Well, when they pick wild cards, you think, Woodland Hills is a strong team. They'll get in. But yet, how do you take a fourth place team over a third place team? How would you put them in over Latrobe, who finishes ahead of them would finish ahead of them in the standings?
Or how would you put them ahead of Fox Chapel or North Hills, who would finish third technically in the Northeast Conference?
I haven't seen a score in that game. But,
no, I have not either.
But it's just. What a crazy year. Yes, it's been a crazy year. But
I don't know. I wish I did know. It almost seemed too easy what it was going to be like coming into tonight, and then it's just like, we had a feeling, Penn Trafford was probably going to beat Franklin Regional. Penn Trafford's the top team in the Big East Conference. We were kind of hoping for that Penn Trafford Gateway matchup. That never happened, but now it's all up in the air. Anything can happen at this point.
You just mentioned some games just got canceled this year because of this COVID thing. The Pine Richland Gateway, Penn Trafford Gateway. Penn Hills Upper St. Clair was canceled because we had to reschedule the conference with Kiski when Kiski had the COVID issue early in the season. It's just, you want to have the playoffs and get all through, but you almost want to say, well, after tonight, let's just go home.
Honestly.
Before something else happens,
Right, and it's just... And then we've been talking Class 4A. How do you seed Class 4A? How do you seed the top 3 teams? How the top 4 teams in that one? With TJ, Aliquippa, and Plum all looking to solidify their spots as the top dogs in that classification. How do you seed that one?
And we mentioned about Plum. They're playing the top passing team in the in 4A tonight. They're up 42-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, Plum is putting on a shellacking tonight. I mean, they're making a statement on their seeding. And people say, well, they're in a weaker conference. Well, you know what? You can't pick your schedule. And, okay, I'm in a weak conference, but we've beaten everybody.
Beating everybody, and you're beating with authority. That's the other thing, too. It's like, are you squeaking by in your wins? Are you another weak team? Or you going out and you're dismantling teams? And the Mustangs have been dismantling teams all year. They have a rightful say.
They went up to Mars and beat up on Mars.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, this 5A bracket is just going to be as Shaler tries the onside kick. Picked up, goes inside. Pellman across the 40, has some lane, up to 50. It's a foot race across the 40, the 30, and a nice return by Pellman inside the 25-yard line, and a late penalty flag comes in.
You want to talk about a night of crazy returns.
Holy cow.
Squib kick. Pellman fumbles it initially, picks it up, rolls to the opposite side of the field, the far side, and then goes all the way in deep into Shaler territory, and then we have a late foul come in.
They returned it to the 22, and the officials are discussing.
And that's where the flag's at, so I don't know if we're going to get a late hit on Penn Hills, a late hit on Shaler.
A late hit on both.
I think it's going to go... I think it's going to go against the Indians. The way the head official's talking over there with head coach for Shaler, Jim Ryan.
Unless Ryan's trying to plead his case.
They're going to come over and relay the information to Coach LaDawn now. So we actually had a penalty marker over here on the near side at about the 28-yard line as well.
And you have to actually is blocking the back against Penn Hills. And a dead ball, personal foul against.
Legal block in the back, hold on. Penn Hills.
So they're going to mark off the penalty for Penn Hills, and then they're going to mark off the 15 yards back the opposite way.
So they marked it back to the 37 or 38. It appears. Wait, no, the official standing at the 31. So you would think they marked 10 yards back to the 41 and then up to the 26?
Because they just did the dead ball foul, so it'll be 15, and it should be actually at the 23-yard line.
Well, they're just pretty much going to wind up back where you returned. Well, I returned it to the 22. They're going to mark it with the 23.
A loss of one on the penalty. You know?
So now Penn Hills with an opportunity to go up. They lead 35-7, and the officials are going to discuss some more. And now we'll get underway. Robert Evans in for the Indians. And it'll be Key. Maybe a yard or two. Brought down by Schweinberg.
Gain of 1. 2nd and 9.
An update, Woodland Hills scores coming out of the half, and actually took the opening kickoff back to the house 75 yards.
Who did?
Woodland Hills is now 26-24, the Wolverines.
Low snap, Key, right side, follows his blockers inside the 20, the 10, 5. It'll be 1st and goal, Penn Hills, at about the 3-yard line.
Use the ball carrier. Isaac with the stop.
I'm going to mark him at the 2.
So 19 yards. And Penn Hills gets the touchdown and the extra point. The clock will begin running. Andre Cochran splits out to the left for Penn Hills. be Brown. Does he get in?
Short, the 1 yard line.
Brown, the ball carrier. Short gain on the play. Second and goal from the 1.
And then Upper St. Clair now leading South Fayette 29-14 in that game. And we'll respect that game will be the winner of that will basically lock up the 5 seed in Class 5A.
And Brown gets into the end zone for the Penn Hills touchdown.
Brown with the carry, scores the Penn Hills touchdown. That is a 1 yard touchdown run for Brown.
Well, Penn Hills doing what they wanted to do, come out and score. Now they just need to tack on the extra point, and the clock will run. Silverman trying to go 6 for 6. Kick is up. And the kick is good. 9:56 to go. Third quarter. Penn Hills 42, Shaler 7 here on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. So now I guess we're going to see a lot of the, I like to call them the clean jerseys. Throw back to back when the game was played on grass.
An actual update, and we were talking about this at halftime. There was a issue around the Shenango-Rochester game. Apparently the situation had been resolved. The game was going to be moved to tomorrow. It is actually back on for tonight, so some late action in Beaver County going on between the Rams and the Wildcats.
Well, at the half, Plum 56, Armstrong 7. Plum pouring it on. Silverman, short pooch kick, taken at the 30-yard line, and Penn Hills is there quickly to cover it. DeAndre Cochran. With the hit on Dylan Stolowski. So the Indians go 23 yards in 4 plays.
Off a squib kickoff.
Yeah. Keith Bellman bobbled it. I thought he was just going to fall on it, and he picked it up. Found some daylight, and away he went. Rossi's pass down the sideline. It's picked off. Holy cow, going up and getting his Ryan Strader. And Rayon Strader gets the Indians the ball at the 45-yard line.
Well, we were raving about this secondary for the Indians, and right on cue, first play of the second half for the defense. Ball a little underthrown, and Strader just high points it in front of Schlegel and comes down with it.
No, will we see Duggar? No, we won't.
We're going to see Robert Thomas once again for the Indians. Saw him a little bit last week in the win over Fox Chapel at the end.
Condon, the ball carrier.
Condon will be dropped for 4 yards. Actually, he didn't go down, but gets stacked up.
Loss of 3. Second and 13.
You know, we talked about this Penn Hills defense tonight. Right now on the stat sheet, Shaler has 7 rushes for 20 yards, 7 for 19 passing for 58 yards, and 3 interceptions. Talk about a stout defense. The Indians have proven that once again, continuing on, beating momentum from the past couple weeks.
Almost bobbles it, holds on to the football, and down about the 50-yard line goes Condon.
Condon in the ball carrier. Tackled by Stalowski.
Believe it or not, that carry was only 8 yards.
Felt like it was about 22.
But also, look at it. When he gets the handoff, I mean, the ball pops out.
Well, and he has...
Because he's hit there, and it just...
Had 4 defenders on him and then spins through the pile and comes out clean on the other side and able to pick up 8 and make it 3rd and medium.
Yeah, let's go 3rd and 5 here. Indians replace a freshman with a freshman, Robert Thomas. Interesting number for a quarterback, number 32. And he will try to throw. Flushed out this side. Penalty flag comes in, gets the pass away. It's incomplete. I would think Shaler would decline the penalty. If it's on Penn Hills, it brings up a 4th down.
It's against the Indians. It was a clear-cut hold. One of the offensive linemen had a defender wrapped by the shoulder pad and wouldn't release him. And we're watching the delay play right here.
Yeah, Joey, Zach Valentine of Shaler was the hold E.
They're going to accept the penalty. The penalty was at the 45, so actually mark it at the 44, so take it all the way back to the 34.
So about a 16-yarder. Again, it's 42-7 Indians here in quarter number 3. We're into the mercy rule. The clock continues to run. They stopped it there to mark off the penalty.
Along with injuries and change of possession.
Thomas looking. Steps up in the pocket. Still on his feet. Goes left side. Has a little bit of daylight across the 40, the 45, the 50. Thomas gets a block in the secondary. And finally pushed out of bounds around the 40-yard line. A bit of a late hit as he goes down, but nothing called. Mark him at the 40. 26 yards on the scamper. And that's good enough for a Penn Hills Indian 1st down.
Great job by the freshman. Just pocket collapsed around him, able to scramble out, and then finds the open field. A couple wide receivers get blocks downfield and keeps the drive alive.
Indians replacing athletes with athletes.
Yes. Very much so.
You know, Penn Hills lost Derek Topek early in this game, and they've just kept on ticking. Got a whistle. Delay a game.
Delay a game on Penn Hills.
It'll take 10 of them. It puts us into the 4th quarter.
And also, thoughts go out to Josh Wade, also lost one of the offensive linemen for the Indians tonight. Both of them in street clothes, and it looks like Topek got ice around the right ankle. And smart to just take him out and rest him get ready for next week's playoff matchup.
I was going to say, after he came off hurt, you weren't going to see him again. The Indians were already up in the game, and now there's another injured Indian. Hayden Pham. Clock will stop. 5:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 42-7 Penn Hills. So who ran that last one?
Condon. That was a Condon again for the what would be a 1-yard loss. Up when Topek went down and saw him go to the split off back. to the side of, at the time, Julian Duggar, with Amir Key running the top of the eye.
Again, Penn Hills will be playing next week. We just don't know against whom or where.
I'm going to go with, I think it's either going to be Peters or Penn Trafford. I think it's going to be the two teams. Pine Richland's going to be one. Those two teams are going to be 2-3. I think Peters would be the 2 spot, so they would face a 7. I think Penn Hills is, with the win tonight, would sit at the 6th spot, so I would think they'd be playing Penn Trafford next Friday night. It would be my guess.
Well, we'll see. We hope to bring that game to you next week. So now 2nd and 16 for the Indians. Pham helped to the sideline. He was walking gingerly, but he was walking. That's Robert Evans. So the 45 for 1.
Evans, the ball carrier, gains 1. Third 15.
Condon this way. Get some blockers. Scars to 40. Penalty flag back at the 50-yard line. Went short of the first down, but looks like this one's going to come back.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a hold on the back side of the play. And the unfortunate is it wasn't even close. The play was never really around where the marker is. The marker's currently sitting basically at the center of the logo at the 50. And it is a holding. And it's just unfortunate.
Third and 29 now for Penn Hills from around 41.
So it makes it 3rd and 29. There's about 15 yards marked off there. Throwing downfield, pass, broken up.
The pass is incomplete. Flag.
And another flag. The way these flags are being thrown, we might as well not even have the mercy rule.
It's an eligible receiver downfield. Called against Penn Hills. And this is the kind of unfortunate mistakes you're going to see with the secondary lineup in there. But it's almost at the point where I know you're supposed to call the game as is, but you almost want to see the officials just tuck it in their pockets. And actually, the penalty was declined.
Aliquip up 42-27. And last week of the season, so a lot of scoreboard. Well, oh my goodness, 3rd quarter. McKeesport 20, Thomas Jefferson nothing. Big run this way. Condon out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 14 yards.
Turnover on downs, but
As
soon as they set the sticks, the clock will begin to run again. Shaler will have it at the 45. What about that one?
The Tigers have been playing some ball this year. And Keysport's been on it, and one of those games maybe TJ came in slacking a little bit, which is odd for a Bill Chirpak team,
Seriously.
And then
But now what would that do to the seating in 4A?
Plum Mustangs,
I'm telling you.
too,
Could be.
behind the Aliquippa Quips.
Could be.
Or would they still put a one-loss TJ team ahead of them?
Yeah, you know how they work. Rossi's doing a quarterback for Shaler, and why not? Tortorella with a nifty run, picks up about 12 for the Titans.
The big man rumbling, stumbling, bumbling all the way down into the Indians' territory.
He's 5'11", 200 pounds.
The man's not 200 pounds. That boy built probably about 220. He's built. It's not, and he runs with authority. He was carrying people with him.
He looks bigger than 5'11", too.
Yes. Yes.
Miller gets by Condon, loses the football, and Penn Hills has it at the 35-yard line.
Over the ball carrier, gains 10 yards, fumbles the football, it is recovered by Penn Hills.
Been
that kind of a night for Shaler.
Yep, and it's been that kind of a season for the Titans. We've seen glimpses. This team has a lot of potential for next year. We were talking about it's a lot of the seniors are on the offensive and defensive lines. Otherwise, it's your playmakers are your juniors and sophomores, and you're only going to grow as you play. So, next year I wouldn't be surprised these Titans, put a little pressure on the Fox Chapel, the North Hills, the Penn Hills of the conference. Pine Richland. They're Pine Richland. It's hard to put pressure on them, but nonetheless.
So much for all our talk at halftime. Woodland Hills up 34-24 now over the
there goes that out the window.
Well, it was fun while it lasted. Penn Hills loses the football. Tortorella intercepts the fumble, and now Shaler has it at the 23-yard line.
Penn Hills fumbles the football, recovered by Anthony Massa for the Titans.
Excuse me, that wasn't Tortorella. That was Anthony Mazza. That happened so quick. I looked at 70, looked like a 40.
Oh, athleticism by the big man. The ball control. Bouncing off the shoulder of Robert
I expected
Thomas.
him to go rumbling.
If Thomas doesn't make a tackle, you're seeing a big man score.
Pass down the right side. Schlegel unable to come up with it.
He did.
Oh, he did come up with it at the 2-yard line. What a catch by Schlegel. Razzo put it right where only he could catch it, and it's first and goal, Shaler.
First and goal, Titans from the 2.
Yeah, put it only where his wide receiver could get it. He was draped by 2 defenders. And then just squeezes in there and holds on. First and goal for the Titans.
What a catch. The way those defenders both crossed in front, I thought it was broken up. And Shaler gets into the end zone. Senior Dylan Stolowski from 2 yards. Touchdown coming with 1:35 to go into third. Shaler now trails 42-13. The mercy rule remains in effect for the entirety of this half. They'll go for 2, and they get it. Nice grab. Is that Rossi, the quarterback? Wow. Well, Shaler creeping back, 42-15, Indians. 1:35 to go here in quarter number 3. You're watching the Penn Hills Indians Football Network. Pine Richland up 58-14 on Kiski.
A new shocker there. And some of the leading experts in the WPL are also agreeing that if Thomas Jefferson would lose tonight to McKeesport, Aliquippa would be the number 1 seed in Class 4. A lot of thinking along the sides as you that TJ was going to be the one holding on for if they would go undefeated, returning champions.
I see Brad Everett posting, if TJ loses, how do you seed Class 4A? TJ and Bell Vernon both one loss. TJ beat Bell Vernon. They get the tiebreaker. Aliquippa and Plum both undefeated. How do you not see the Mustangs 1 or 2? In fact, if you look at the standings, the Mustangs have more Gardner WPIO points. They're not going to be the number 1 seed. I'm just saying. But it should give them a case for number 2.
Yes, a very good case for number 2.
Lavelle Peters with the return for Penn Hills, looking for somewhere to go, comes to the near side, stays on his feet, gets a block, and able to rumble out to about the 40-yard line.
Suplex
I mean,
down.
gosh,
He pulled a Reggie Bush. He ran about 25 yards side to side, but only got about 3 on the actual return from the 37 to the 40.
But he made it fun.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Upper St. Clair 29-17 over South Fayette after 3.
And winner of that determines the 4th spot in Class 5A. And I imagine the loser is going to be... It's going to be a case between Penn Hills and the loser of that game for the who is the 6th team in the the 5th team in the standings and such.
Condon across the 40 to the 41-yard line, picks up 1. A late penalty flag comes in. There's a scuffle out on the field.
Condon, the ball carrier.
Penn Hills does not need any ejections. They'll be playing next week. Looked like Davon Jones was in a bit of a scuffle with about 6 Titans.
Yeah, and official came over and told Coach LaDonna, an assistant, what he did. He shoved him down. And after the play, and currently just getting an earful. You know, young man and an opportunity, getting some playing time, and a chippy Shaler team who's had a season to forget for the Titans, and just trying to do their best. And it goes from where the ball stops, so where the line of scrimmage would be, so because it was a dead ball foul.
Right.
So it goes from the 41, so it'll back it up 15 yards to the 26.
So the final, Pine Richland wins tonight.
Thomas keeps that one.
Robert Thomas out to the, I think, get him back to the line of scrimmage, or the original line of gain at the 40.
Got to make it short. Just short of it, so it'll be 2nd and 11.
So he picks up 14. And the Indians will let the clock wind down. That'll do it after 3. Your score, Penn Hills 42, Shaler 15 on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
And that concludes our 3rd quarter of play with the score Penn Hills 42, Shaler area 15.
Quickly we come to the line here to start quarter number 4. Clock already running. Low snap. Thomas picks it up, looks for somewhere to go, comes up the sideline, loses it again, and I think Shaler has it this time. Yep. Another turnover.
Thomas with the carry, fumbles the football, recovered by the Titans.
And Shaler has it. Hey, a lot of possessions for both teams in this game.
Yeah, some sloppy play here in the second half. It's kind of what you expect a little bit between two teams who are going to probably play their backups. And don't count the Wildcats out just yet. 34-31 now. Woodland Hills leads Latrobe in the fourth quarter. So
no way.
Latrobe fighting back.
Last night of the season. It's fun watching the scoreboard. Tortorella down to the 31-yard line, pick up of 6.
Gauge 5, 2nd and 5.
Yeah, the Latrobe touchdown coming at the very beginning of quarter number 4.
Like I was talking to Mr. Don Rebel in the pregame, you have to play the game. You never know what's going to happen. That's why we play the game, and Latrobe proving that tonight.
Ben Trafford wins 56-7 over Franklin Regional. Vincent Yutzi.
Yutzi, the ball carrier, tackled by Reeves. No gain, 3rd and 5.
Lays up a 3rd down for the Titans. Again, we're in a running clock situation. Penn Hills 42, Shaler 15. After 3, McKeesport 20, TJ nothing. Pass, tipped, almost intercepted, but it falls incomplete. First one to hit it was Stolowski, then it went to Schlegel, and almost coming up with it was the Indians' John Dawson, but it brings up a 4th down for the Titans.
Yeah, for a second, I thought Schlegel was going to be able to catch it off the first tip. I was like, oh, well, this is going to work out for the Titans. And
Schlegel, 6'4". He's a junior. Next year in this game, he might be 6'6".
Very possible.
Low snap pass complete. Pass down to Schlegel, and he has it inside the 10. 5, Schlegel, does he get in? I think he does. Yes, he does. They brought him down, but he was on top of the defender. And it's a touchdown for the Titans. Brazo to Schlegel for 6.
And just throw it up where your tall wide receiver can go get it, and then let his athleticism and size prove too tough for the Indians, and able to rumble his way into the end zone.
They're going to go for 2. Tortorella. I'm going to say no, he did not get in. So the score remains Penn Hills 42, Shaler 21. 9:21 to go here in the fourth quarter on the Penn Hills Indians Football Network.
Score is now Penn Hills 42, Shaler 21.
A couple of Penn Hills mistakes leads to a couple of Shaler touchdowns. I don't think Penn Hills can ill afford to let Shaler creep back into this one.
No, it's one of those where you don't put your starters back out there because you don't want them getting hurt. That's the other thing, but slowly letting them have life. Shaler's having a little life here at the end. And Upper St. Clair leading South Fayette 29-24, 10:09 to go in regulation on that game. Winner of that will be the 5. Loser, I'm going to guess, a 7. I guess it would fall if Penn Hills is able to hold on tonight, Penn Hills will be the 6th seed in Class 5A. That would be my guess, and I think it's what a lot of people have been saying as well coming into tonight.
They're taking it to 22-yard line. Penn Hills retains possession. That was Marquell Willis with the return. And Penn Hills will have it about the 40-yard line. Where are they going to mark him? I don't think they know.
39? 38? In between? We'll go 39. I'll give him to the 39 for Willis.
Here, Coach LaDawn up here in the press box is down on the field. I think he's trying to get as many kids in as he can.
As he should.
Absolutely. Especially the seniors.
Yes. TJ finally on the board, 20-7 with 11 minutes to go in regulation. So the Jaguars not done yet.
No, never count a Chirpac team out.
No. Probably got his patented khaki shorts on tonight and his pullover.
I'm telling you, I keep, as I mentioned my son Joe, the Plum special teams and offensive defensive line coach. He teaches at Thomas Jefferson.
Oh.
So I keep teasing him. What do you do when you match if you play Thomas Jefferson in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, imagine Coach LaDon. He lives around the Pine Richland area. His kids go to Pine Richland.
Yes, they do.
That game week, they were wearing Penn Hill stuff to class.
Yes, they were.
Imagine that, It's a similar situation. How about this? Avella in Class 1A makes it to the playoffs defeating Carmichael's 14-7. When was the last time the Avella Eagles were in the playoffs?
Go Eagles.
Yeah.
Go Eagles. I love to see that. I love to see teams that aren't traditional powerhouses and get in to make the playoffs.
Yes.
It's great for the programs. It really is.
Yes, and they've been slowly, getting better in the past 5 years, and it's come to fruition finally into the playoffs. Go the Eagles.
Robert Thomas, their quarterback. Penn Hills loses it again at the 35. Oh, my.
That was Robert Evans who lost that one. The snap was good. The handoff was right in the spot, and it looked like Evans tried to grab it out of Thomas's hand instead of just put it in my gut. Just let him
put it in the basket.
Put it in the basket and go. He was trying to grab it out of his hands, and Thomas, you could see him look to the sideline and just go, "What am I supposed to do?" It was one of those things. So, and another mistake, shoot yourself in the foot here lately for Penn Hills.
Pass tipped, falls incomplete. We talked about the Indians and their freshman quarterbacks. Nathan Rozzo, quarterback now for Shaler, a freshman.
Yeah, you do get Dom Rossi back, only the 6-foot junior. He'll be back next year, but you want to give him experience because you get him some experience, you can throw him into the play mix next year and
absolutely
throw some wrinkles into the offense.
See, they've thrown Rossi out at wide receiver a couple of times. Pass complete. Looks like no gain. Brandon London. The
6'1", 203 freshman, and he's a tall target at tight end spot. You can get him worked in. You got some tall playmakers for this Titan offense with Schlegel and London, if you can get him into the mix as well.
Bit of a high snap, and then you see the difference between the quarterbacks when Rossi's 6 foot and Rozzo, Rossi and Rozzo, Rozzo's 5'9".
Yeah.
And Shaler will call a timeout. 7:20 to go, fourth quarter, 42-21 Penn Hills on the Indians Football Network. So if Shaler scores here, suddenly it's a 2-score game. Now, if you're Coach LaDawn, do you keep the regulars out?
I might.
Or do you just go out there and do the old, water boy tactic of take a knee, just let the clock run.
I don't know. That's a good question. That's
Here, take a whole bunch of delays of game and just, it's clock wind.
because I'm looking down at the sideline. None of the starters remotely have a helmet near them. All the helmets for the offense is sitting on the bench right now.
But again, this is a great opportunity for these kids to get experience and coaches to evaluate. Pass complete. On the near side.
Mr. Tanker's pass is complete. Jones with the tackle.
6-yard pickup for, we don't know.
Nobody that I know of.
We have no 27 on our rosters.
No.
We know it's not Josh Miller.
Only size I can see there would be maybe number 7, Tanner Plains, 6'4". He's a junior, but not that I see.
Titans pick up the first down. Nice run by Augie Tortorella. They got Tortorillas all over the place here in Shaler. Ball down to the 17-yard line, a gain of 12. Roman Tortorella, number 40, he's the senior. And Augie, a sophomore. Tortorella again. And the Indians are there waiting for him for no gain. And the clock will roll under 6 minutes to go here in quarter number 4. I think if you're Shaler, you have to start thinking maybe throwing into the end zone because you have an opportunity to actually get into the game here.
The Titans are making a game. Give them credit. They're not laying down, going out fighting.
Pass incomplete on the far side. We'll bring up a third down.
Matt Supa was the attended man. He had it and then couldn't really control, and then just a hit was laid on him by one of the Indian defenders, and ball just pops loose.
Yeah, he was more or less separated from it. High snap. And Razzo drops on it at the 35-yard line. And that brings up a fourth down. 16-yard loss back to the 35.
Fourth and 28. Here the Titans from the Penn Hills 35.
Pass down the sideline and it's incomplete. We'll turn the ball over on downs with 4:14 to go. He needs to get it right back at the 35-yard line. The last 4 possessions all began within 3 yards of this spot.
Crazy how it all works out. And South Fayette comes back and takes the lead over Upper St. Clair, 32-29, 7 minutes ago in that game.
Actually, last 5 possessions have all started between the 35 and 38-yard line down here.
Incredible.
Clock rolls under 4 minutes to go. Another busted play. Thomas will be sacked. Holds on to the football.
Thomas is sacked on the play by Anthony Mazza.
It was about 7.
Roster 10 on the play.
Out to about the 31-yard line. Ben Reeves.
Tackled by London. Gain of 6.
A lot of games turning into finals, RJ. This one should be there shortly. Vinay. Oh, no gain. Brings up 4th down. Penn Hills, you might as well take the delay. Run another 22 seconds off the clock. Benet follows blockers right side. Try to get to the outside. Goes across to 30 to 35. And it'll be pushed back at about the 33-yard line. Gain of 2. They need to turn the ball over on downs at the 34-yard line. Again, pretty much this 4th quarter has been started right there in that spot.
Yeah, and another team really moving the ball much. Sloppy play between both sides and a little back and forth between both backup squads.
Pass incomplete on the near side.
Second and 10.
Pass almost caught on the near side. Clock continues to run under 30 seconds. Again, Penn Hills 42-21 over Shaler here.
I've been listening, and I think they've had a couple of number changes because they've been saying actually Keegan Smetanka's name as 16, not Nathan Razzo. The past couple, I've been listening for the public address. So I wonder if they've changed numbers a couple times that we haven't, late in the season so far. They haven't updated their roster for us.
Pass is caught, but that'll do it for the game. That's the rosters that the AD sent to us this week.
I agree. It's just unfortunate, but I was listening and I could hear Smetanka, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's Keegan Smetanka then in the game.
Smetanka, that's a name that should be familiar with you up there at St. Vincent.
Yes, Aaron Smetanka, the head coach of the Bearcats.
Absolutely. So it is a final here at Shaler Area Middle School at Titan Stadium. Penn Hills 42, Shaler 21. And this was, despite the final score, this was all Penn Hills, RJ, right from the beginning on the onside kick.
Yeah, garbage time scores. We got both backups, sloppy play at the end. It is what it is. The final score, 21-point differential. But overall, this was just This was a clinic put on by Penn Hills, not just defensively, because it was 42-7, and it was all Penn Hills. But then after that, the offense really showed its strengths. They showed the running game. They had the passing game going. They had it all. Coach LaDon's got to feel good about his team going into next week. Had a couple injuries tonight. Saw Josh Wade go down. Saw Derek Topek go down. But get recovered. Get into the, get some athletic training. Get some ice. Get everything going. And be sitting on the couch tomorrow night waiting to see who the Indians will play in Class 5A playoffs.
Interesting. We've been trying to figure it all out, and we don't know. It looks like Woodland Hills is holding on. They just had an interception with about 6 minutes to go in that game. They're up by 3. I mean, who knows? I mean, we might find out later on. We got when all the scores come in. But even if we have all the scores, we still don't know how they're all going to be seeded. I see nothing on the North Hills Fox Chapel score, but again, that's all dependent upon if Latrobe comes back and beats Woodland Hills or not.
Yeah.
And right now, it looks like Woodland Hills may be holding on to that game.
Yeah, and it also comes, that game comes into play for Penn Hills, because if Woodland Hills finishes 3, I know it's a 2 in the conference versus a 3 in the conference, but Woodland Hills beat Penn Hills in the beginning of the season. Does that factor into the seeding of those two teams? How does that work out, the overall records? Do you give the wild card team a spot higher than a team who won their spot in? It wasn't selected, and then if they don't win, what happens after that? South Fayette, Upper St. Clair. South Fayette just took the lead late in that game with 6 minutes to go. How does that affect the seeding? Where do you put them? It's 5A is going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun to see tomorrow night. We know the top 3 teams. We know it's Pine Richland. We know it's Penn Trafford. We know it's Peters Township, and then it's Gateway. Gateway is the number 4 team. Let's call it what it is. Gators are going to be the 4 seed. All right, who's the 5? Probably the winner of the Upper St. Clair South Fayette game. All right, who's 6? Do you go Penn Hills then? Do you go the loser of the Upper St. Clair South Fayette game? Do you go Woodland Hills at that point? That's where they're going to have to make a decision. I know it's a team won and got in, and the other 2 were chosen as wild cards, but
yeah, but how do you seed a wild card ahead of a team that finished runner up in the conference?
Better resume of games. Hey,
where you finish has to count for something.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I'm just trying. Those are the things you got to think about. All right, well, Woodland Hills beat Penn Hills early in the season. And we throw that in. South Fayette, Peters Township, Upper St. Clair. That's Allegheny 6 conference is a tough conference.
All right.
How do you determine that?
Absolutely, but is this the same Penn Hills team that played Woodland Hills?
It's not. To me, it's
right.
not.
It's not. But it's I would I've been around a long time. Nothing will surprise me of what they come up with. Sometimes they will see teams just for travel.
Yeah.
Here's 4 teams. We can seed them this way, where these 2 teams each travel long distances, or we could see the closer ones together.
Yep.
It's who knows what goes on in that room.
And it looks like Woodland Hills is going to win. They forced a turnover on downs with 1:19 to go against Latrobe. So the Wolverines going to lock up probably that other wild card spot. Right. So you're looking at a field of Pine Richland, Penn Hills, Penn Trafford, Gateway, Woodland Hills, Peters Township, South Fayette, Upper St. Clair. That's your 8 teams in Class 5.
All traditional football powerhouses.
Yes. Now where do you put them? Besides 1 through 4 is already it's set in my mind.
Do you take the bottom 4 and put them in a hat?
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, they all got great resumes, but
my guess is Penn Hills next week will be either at Gateway or Penn Trafford.
I'm going to go Penn Trafford. I think you're going to get Gateway against the winner of Upper St. Clair South Fayette. I think that's going to be the 5 team, and they're going to face Gateway as the 4. And I think Penn Hills will be the 6. They have to go to the 3, which would be, in my mind, Penn Trafford. So I believe the Indians will be facing the Warriors next week.
And how do you think that one will fare? Match up?
Who knows?
Got
to play the game.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Well, hopefully we'll be able to bring that game to you next week in the WPIAL playoffs. Again, your final score here at Titan Stadium. The Penn Hills Indians are victorious over the Shaler area Titans by a score of 42-21. My broadcast partner, RJ Licey, our producer, Helen, celebrating a birthday this weekend. Happy birthday. I'm Bill Navarre. Thank you for watching Penn Hills Indians football here on the Indians Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.